Hello, greetings to you all. On today's video, we will be discussing the history and origin of Death Valley. How the name Death Valley came into existence. How Death Valley was transformed to a national park. And what you must know and take care of before visiting Death Valley. But, before we proceed.
Welcome. My name is Greg, the Information Hunter. I'm based on reviewing useful informations or contents, just like the one you're watching. And I want you to do one thing for me, just one thing. Subscribe to this channel. Thank you.
So let's get down to the business. Death Valley is home to the Timbisha tribe of Native Americans, formerly known as the Panamint Shoshone. It's located in the northern Mojavadesert in eastern California, bordering the Great Basin Desert. The name given to Death Valley as its first and original name was from the Timbisha tribe, and it was Tumpisa, which means rock paint, referring to certain clay in the valley that can be turned into a red ochre paint. Someday, in 1849, during the California Gold Rush, a nickname or English name was formed for Tumpisa as Death Valley, by the prospectors and group of venturing pioneers who sought to cross the valley, and they got lost in the desert. Reportedly, they were rescued by two of their young men, William Lewis Manley and John Rogers, who had learned to be scouts, according to the National Park Service. But sadly, they lost one of their men in the desert. As the other men managed to escape the fate of death in the valley, one of them proclaimed, "Goodbye Death Valley," and a nickname was formed. This is actually how the name, Death Valley, came into existence. But unfortunately, the Timbisha tribe were devastated to learn that pioneers misunderstood their homeland enough to name it Death Valley, because their valley's resources offers them everything necessary for comfort and contentment. Let's proceed. During summer, Death Valley is the hottest place on Earth. It's the most dried and lowered point in North California, with about 282 feet below the sea level, and the valley's ground is actually covered by a thick layer of salt. But can I ask you, how did the salt get on the valley's ground? Now listening. At the Badwater Basin, which is where the Death Valley is located, the ground forms temporary lake during storms, and the water evaporates after storms, leaving the salt on the valley's ground as the results of mineral concentration. So, this is how the salt you see on the valley's ground got there. Subheading: The establishment of Death Valley National Park. During the 1850s, gold and silver were extracted in the valley. In the 1880s, borax was discovered and extracted, by mule-drawn wagons. On February 11, 1933, Death Valley National Monument was proclaimed, by President Herbert Hoover, placing the area under federal protection. In 1994, the monument was redesignated as Death Valley National Park, as well as being substantially expanded, to include Saline and Eureka valleys. Death Valley is a vast national park with over 3 million acres of designated wilderness of about 140 miles long, trending roughly north to south, and 5 to 15 miles wide. It is the fifth largest American national park, and largest in the contiguous United States. Great questions. How and when do visitors visit Death Valley National Park? At the Eastern California, July and August are the peak of summer. Within this period, Death Valley is far hotter than it is in other months of the year, so visitors are advised to keep or minimize their visit within this period. Visitors are as well advised to drink enough water, eat snacks, limit their activities outside air conditioning, before visiting Death Valley. When visiting in car, visitors are advised to stay in well-visited areas of the Death Valley National Park, so that other people might provide help in case of a vehicle breakdown, and also remember to turn off your car air conditioning, to avoid car overheating. Most importantly, do not visit Death Valley after 10 a.m. in the morning, because the temperature of the valley rises way too much from that time. Thank you as you stayed with us to the end of this video. Please like this video and comment your addition to this video in the comment section below, and most importantly, subscribe.